This is Ray.
This is Andy.
And this is First Down Sports Podcast.
CFL.
CFL.
Yeah.
Andy, we got a big subject to talk about. Johnny Football Manziel. We were here with you, Johnny, when you came north of the border. And now we got to talk about you behind your back. Now you're leaving back to the south of the border.
Leaving this wonderful country. Yeah, we were excited.
Yeah.
I mean, jacked up.
You got a Ticats jersey over it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a Ticats jersey anyways, but while we were in Hamilton for our big 3 CFL games in 3 cities in 3 days trip, only in the CFL can you do that, by the way, I almost paid $80 to get my jersey branded with Manziel and number 2s all over it. Didn't happen, mainly because of the lineup. Sort of thankful now. But,
yeah.
You know, if I had a Johnny Manziel jersey, just like I have a Cleveland Browns jersey, I'd hold on to it.
There you go.
It's a prop.
Well, Andy, listen. Let's go through the timeline of Johnny first, okay? September 27th, 2017 is when Johnny Manziel officially signed his contract with the Hamilton Ticats.
Yep.
At the time of this, Randy Ambrosie came out and said he had done his due diligence and that Manziel was going to have to meet certain conditions, and he never specified what those conditions were. Mm-hmm. He said this was good for the player and good for the league.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, before any of that happened, though, I think you left out one huge thing that happened in this timeline.
Yeah.
Prior to this, head coach at the time of the Ticats, now offensive coordinator June Jones came out and said that he expected Johnny, if he ever showed up in the CFL, to be the greatest quarterback to ever play in the CFL.
To ever play.
Yeah.
Better than Doug Flutie.
Yeah, you
better than Warren Moon.
Warren Moon. If Johnny came up, his skill set was so perfect.
Ricky Ray.
Man, we can keep naming names, but bottom line is it was a big statement.
Big statement.
And I was eating it up.
Let's jump forward to February 27th, 2019. Mm-hmm. Because now Johnny has contravened the terms of his contract, which had certain conditions. The CFL, Randy Ambrosie, ordered an immediate release of Johnny Manziel from the Montreal Alouettes. They had no choice. They had to cut him.
Yeah.
And Randy Ambrosie wanted Johnny out of the CFL, and I really think he wanted to have his passport revoked and kicked out of Canada altogether.
I don't know about that. But, yeah, this sucks for the Alouettes, who gave up a bunch of draft capital and a bunch of really good players to get Johnny Manziel. They had him for one more season. You know, we saw just tiny little flashes of Johnny football last season when he got in there, and perhaps this was the year. Perhaps this was the year that he was going to bring it all together. And not that the general manager of the Toronto Alouettes really looked smart at all to begin with. Montreal, yeah. Kivas Reed, but wow, he couldn't look worse now, where he gave up all of that, assumed the risk of Johnny Manziel, knowing that something like this could happen, and then it happens, and out he goes. But what did happen, right? Well,
what I want to talk to you about is what the greatest quarterback of all time in the CFL did in 2018.
Oh, you're going to throw me some stats?
I'm going to throw you some stats.
Well, this should get interesting.
In 2018, the man, the myth, the legend, Johnny Manziel put up 8 games played, 64.2 passing completion percentage, 1,290 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a crazy, unbelievable quarterback rating of 80.6. That is your greatest quarterback to ever play the game. My biggest question for you, Andy, after this disaster of Johnny coming to the CFL, what's next for Johnny? Or, hold on, is there a next?
All right. Yes, I do think there's a next. Now, there's a few reasons why. So these conditions, I'm going to not air quote it because you've really been laying in the air quotes thick in this video.
I saw a recent Chris Farley video, and Chris Farley used to quote
Okay. All right.
So,
Okay.
there you go.
All right.
Sorry.
I had no idea where you're going with that, but it's okay. The fact that they never disclosed these conditions when Johnny came into the league means there's no reason why they have to disclose them now. I have a feeling the reason why they never disclosed these conditions when he first came into the league is they were very personal to Johnny's issues off the field. So I'm guessing, totally guessing here, that Randy Ambrosie had regular psychiatric maybe checkups just to make sure that he's still on the straight and narrow. Potentially some drug tests or
all you have, you know how Randy Ambrosie can check that?
What's that?
All you got to do is check the front page of the paper that he plays in, because Johnny always made the front page of the paper.
But he did a really good job up here, really not to make any news.
True.
Really not to make any news, right? So maybe some alcohol testing, counseling, whatever. And I have a feeling that Johnny just failed to show up to one of these during the offseason. Just got busy doing Johnny Manziel things. Who knows what that is? I know everybody made a big deal out of him charging $100 for somebody to sign. He could charge $500 for a signature in Texas, and he would have a lineup out the door. Anybody who had a problem with that, by the way, I know I'm getting off track here. That's stupid. Johnny Manziel built Texas A&M a new stadium and never allegedly, or as far as we know anyways, got paid a cent. He should be able to charge anybody anything he wants for a signature, supply and demand. But either way, he must have violated one of these things. We never have to talk about it again. And Randy, basically said, you got to go. Now, can I talk really quickly about whether or not I agree with maybe he did this on purpose? Dave Naylor, TSN, brought out a great article not long ago talking about how we'll never really, the whole thing was shrouded in mystery. We saw glimpses of Johnny football, but we never knew what he really could be in the CFL. There was that mystery, and now there's the mystery of what did he do to leave. A lot of people say, oh, he was trying to get out of the CFL. He never wanted to come to Canada. NFL Hall of Famer Warren Moon said Johnny never wanted to play in Canada. Of course he didn't. He just wanted to revitalize his career. That's fine. However, let's examine what it would mean for him to purposely get out of the CFL season. Johnny would have made about $400,000 Canadian if he started all the games for the Montreal Alouettes this season. Okay? Now, any Americans watching this are thinking, oh, is this so $28 or whatever? All right, so over $300,000 American is what he would have made to play in the CFL. In the Alliance of American Football League, which is the league happening right now that everybody thought he was in such a hurry to go join, they're all on 3-year contracts for $250,000 US, completely non-guaranteed.
Yep.
They can knock you off the books at any time. And for that first year, just in case they had financial troubles,
week one,
which maybe they did, everybody is getting paid $70,000 for the first year. Meaning, if Johnny joined the Alliance right now, partway through the season, what would he make? $40,000.
That's right.
So he's giving up over $300,000 to not play in the CFL just to go hurry up down south to make $40,000 in the Alliance. And then some people say XFL. The XFL season doesn't start until long after the CFL was done.
Right. He could have easily played out his CFL contract and gone to the XFL.
Right. So for financial reasons, anyways, it made absolutely no sense. For financial reasons and football reasons, because playing in the Alliance, sure, maybe if he could get into the Alliance right now, it is a closer game to his ultimate goal, which is the NFL. But it made no sense for him to do this on purpose, and I don't believe he did. I believe he violated one of those terms, which was probably regular check-ins during the off season to make sure that he was on the straight and narrow. They may have been excessive. They should have been excessive, and he missed one. That's what I think.
So there's been some rumors already on Twitter yesterday that Johnny Manziel may be in the Raiders training camp this spring.
Oh my gosh.
It could happen. You never know with Gruden what's going to happen down there. And Gruden, he loved that guy. He loved that guy.
He's never met a quarterback he didn't love.
All right. So my biggest question is this. We know how Roger Goodell operates.
Yeah.
If Johnny Manziel was in a Raiders training camp, you got to think Roger Goodell's going to call Randy Ambrosie and say, hey, can you tell me about this banning business?
Yeah, and Randy would. And unless there is a legal agreement between the CFL and Johnny's attorneys or whatever that you don't do that, I'm sure he would tell him. I do, like I said at the beginning when you posed the question, I do think there's a next for Johnny. I don't think Raiders training camp is that next. I don't think Goodell, again, he's not on the commissioner's ban list or anything like that, but I don't think Goodell is ready to open the door immediately. And if a team started showing interest, I'm sure there would be conversations. But there's no reason for a team to start showing interest just yet. But do I think he will make his way into the Alliance of American Football League, or at worst, the XFL next season when it kicks off? 100%. Because ratings are fizzling, Ray. We watched the Alliance week 1. We were so excited. Fast football, and there was no other football to watch. We knew some of these players. Either we watched them in college or they used to play for our teams in the NFL. So there was a tiny bit of excitement there. Man, it's week 4 or 5 or something now. Any and all emotional attachment to that league is gone. I could care less, but I can tell you, if it was announced tomorrow that Johnny Manziel was going to start a game in the Alliance, like my alarm would be set, my schedule would be locked in, and I would be coming home to watch that. That league, I don't know how dependent it is on ticket sales. Again, financial difficulty. I mean, they could certainly use the ticket sales, but the excitement around that league is just it's fizzling.
Yeah,
and just in my opinion, it's because we don't have an emotional attachment to some of these players, and having a character like Johnny Manziel in that league would be so good for it. And it would be a great way for the XFL to kick off their league and breed some excitement. So do I think we will see him in one of these two developmental leagues or whatever coming up? I do, Ray. Do I really see much happening after that? I guess we'll see.
We'll have to wait. There you go, folks. Johnny Manziel, was nice for the short time you were up here, but good luck down in the States.
We'll be following you, Johnny.